Hi students, and welcome to Unit 1. Let's take a look at our workload for this unit. You'll notice first that you want to double check and make sure that you've read the course syllabus, the course announcements, and that you do have a copy of the course textbook. You're going to want to complete everything in Unit 0 before continuing in Unit 1 because that is where you download the software required, set up your connection, and download the student files that are required. In this unit, we will be reading chapters 1 and 2 out of our textbook. Chapter 1 is an overview of things that you hopefully talked about in the prerequisite course. What is a relational database? What is a relational database design? How do objects relate to each other? How to read and design ER diagrams, entity relationship diagrams. I do want to make sure that you understand the concepts from Chapter 1, and if you have any questions, let me know. For the duration of this course, we're going to be working with a fictional company called Just Leave Books, and one of the things in Chapter 1 that you will see is an ER diagram for the database that we will be using. I have a link posted here, so if you click on that, you have a copy if you'd like to print that off. It's important that you understand that these entities are going to be translated to tables in our database. These attributes will be fields. These lines between tables are relationships. Make sure you understand a one-to-one relationship, one-to-many, and many-to-many. And then become familiar with the tables and the types of data that we have in the database that we're going to be using this semester. I have posted the PowerPoints that came with the textbook for chapters 1 and 2. Those may or may not prove to be helpful to you. It depends on what type of learner you are and what format you like to see things in, but you definitely will need to read the entire chapters of the textbooks, especially since this is an online class where I'm not in front of you able to explain things. So at the very beginning, almost the first thing in chapter 2 that you're asked to do is to run the script files to create the Just Leave Books database that we're going to be using for class. So let's go over to our software from Oracle that we downloaded and log in. Here we are with Oracle SQL Developer, and it's asking for my login information to connect to the EDU1 database, which you should have walked through the steps to create a connection to the EDU1 database already in Unit 0. Each of us will have a username, aura, and then a number, and I have posted your user ID in your gradebook in Blackboard. You'll see it's one of the first columns that appear in your gradebook, so make sure that you have that. And I've also posted the default password, and you will of course change your password. So let me log in to the database. You'll see that it's loading. And when you're connected, you will see a window to the EDU1 database. One of the first things you're asked to do in Chapter 2 is to run the script called jldbbuild.sql. That was one of the student files that you were asked to download and save in Unit 0. So I'm going to go find that file on my apparently messy desktop, and I'm going to open it. This is a file of a bunch of different SQL commands in a script that we need to run in order to set up the database. You may notice the first time you log in, if you try to run any of the commands in the book, like describe an object, you'll get errors that the objects don't exist because there is nothing in your database yet. So that's why we have to set it up. So when you open this JLDB build script, the JLDB build script is a set of SQL commands that will be run to set up the objects in our database and to populate our tables so that we can do some of the work that we need to do in the first few chapters. To run the script file, once it's open, you've opened it, and notice it doesn't have any numbers behind it. I think there were like a build 5, build 8, build 9. Those are for later chapters. So this icon in the software will run the entire script, all the commands in it. This run statement button will only run one statement at a time. Our SQL statements always end in a semicolon. If I were to push the run statement, it would only run the first statement or whatever statement I had my cursor on. So what you're going to do is open it and then simply click on the run script button. And you'll notice it's running through the script, and down here is the feedback or the output. And then you can verify the objects existing by, for example, the describe command that your textbook will talk about. If I run that, now I do have a book called, or I'm sorry, a table called books that has these columns in it. And so I do see a description or the format of the table. I can also select everything from books, the table books, and it will return all of the rows of data in the table. So that's how you're going to set up the database for the textbook. And back in Blackboard, you see there's some more instructions you need to read there and some images. After that is all set up and your reading is completed, you do have a hands-on assignment from Chapter 2. You're going to do the hands-on assignment at the back of the textbook where you create some SQL commands. I would like you to save all of your homework in one file, and it will be your name _1 because this is unit 1.sql. I've provided an example of how that might look. I want to make sure that you understand that I expect some comments in it so that your script is well documented. For example, your name, the name of the class, what unit and chapter we're doing. And then there will be like 10 or 12 problems, and you see here that I've made a comment. This is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, and these aren't the solutions to your problems, so they're just examples. In a script file, 2 dashes can be used for a single line of comments. If you have comments that you want to go across multiple lines, you would start it with a slash and a star and then end it with a star and a slash. So back in the script file, you see this double dash allows the software to identify this as a comment and not a command. Up here, I have chosen to use single line comments, but I could have just as easily put a slash and a star here at the start, and then way back here put a star and a slash, and that would have included everything between it as a comment. Make sure that you run all of the commands in your script before you turn it in. When you're ready to turn it in, and please do follow the naming conventions that I've asked for, you're going to click on the assignment title and it's going to open a submission area where you can attach a file. So you're going to browse your computer and point it to where the file is saved and then attach it and then click submit. And then finally there will be a short little quiz over the reading that you did in chapters 1 and 2. You are allowed to take the quiz up to 2 times, and then the higher of your 2 scores will be what is recorded in the grade book. You have a limit of 20 minutes to take the quiz. It automatically closes after that. And our quizzes will be anywhere from 10 to 20 questions, multiple choice, true, false, mostly. So that's our workload for Unit 1. Good luck. It's exciting to start doing some coding in SQL, and I look forward to seeing you next unit.